Welcome to We Learn Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 4, Process of Performance Management. Topics which we are going to cover in this session are Introduction, Performance Planning, Defining Expectation, Defining Objectives, Measuring Performance, the continuous process of performance management, reviewing performance, providing feedback, assessing performance, rating performance, coaching, documentation. Coming towards the first topic, that is the introduction. In this unit, we will discuss the process of performance management. Performance management system consists of a number of interconnected processes which takes place throughout the year. The performance management process is not only concerned with interactions between managers and employees, but it is also related to what employees do about monitoring and improving their own performance, measuring performance, and documenting the outcome of performance management plans and reviews. Next is the performance planning. Performance planning deals with setting the direction, accepting performance agreement, and agreeing personal improvement plans. It covers what has to be done, how it is to be done, and what is to be achieved. It is forward looking, focusing on what people have to achieve their potential and stretching them to discover what they are capable of. It also motivates employees by giving them the opportunity to perform and develop. Performance planning is concerned with improving employee performance by helping them to learn and provide them with the support they need to do well now and in the future. Performance planning is the first step of an effective performance management process. Performance planning typically involve a meeting of about an hour or so between an appraiser and the employee being assessed. The agenda for performance planning meeting includes agreeing upon the individual's key job responsibilities, developing a common understanding of the goals and objectives that need to be achieved, identifying the most important competencies that the individual must display in doing the job, creating an appropriate individual development plan. Goal setting. Goal setting is one of the important elements of performance planning. Apart from identifying the key responsibilities of individual's job and the competencies or behaviors that the organization expects everyone to display, setting appropriate goals for upcoming year is another critical element. When a manager and a subordinate are discussing goals, they are talking about what the individual will do in addition to simply meeting the job description demands of the position. The results of the goal setting are: first is identification of significant success factors in the job. Second one is mobilization of individual and organizational energy. Third one is concentrating on high priority activities. Fourth one is increased probability of success. And the last one is increased productivity. Next are the planning performance development. A personal development plan is prepared and agreed during the performance planning process. This is an action plan for individual to implement with the support of their manager and the organization. It is an official training which includes a wider set of improvement activities such as learning, self-managed project work, coaching, and job enlargement and enrichment. The actions agreed to improve performance and to develop knowledge, skills, and competencies is recorded in the development plan. Next are the defining expectations. Performance management is basically about managing expectations. Expectations are defined and agreed on the form of role profiles. The role profiles define what is required in each major aspect of the role. Expectations are also defined as short or medium term targets. The expectation of knowledge and skills, upholding the core values of the organization, and meeting behavioral requirements. All these can be loosely referred to as objective, which are more than simply about target as is often assumed. The process of defining expectations. Expectations should be defined based on the role profile, which set out the overall purpose of the role and the key result area it contains. Role profiles include an organization's competency framework that define the knowledge and skills required to achieve the role objectives and any particular behavioral requirement. Role profiles define the overall purpose of the role, its supporting relationship, and key result areas. They may also include a list of competencies required. The competency may be technical competencies and any specific behavioral competencies attached to the role. The behavioral competencies are selected from the organization's competency framework and modified as required to fit the demand made on the role holder. The process starts at the performance planning stage. An existing role profile is reviewed and changes are made if necessary, or a new role profile is created. In each of the key result areas, the ongoing role expectation and any specific targets or tasks, behavioral changes, or improvement or training requirement related to those areas are discussed and agreed upon. For example, if the objective of an organization is to improve customer satisfaction by responding to customer queries and complaints promptly, efficiently, and politely, and the quantifiable targets are responded to 90% of queries in one working day, then these expectations would call for the discussion on how the individual could contribute to upholding a core value for the customer service. The result of this discussion could be agreement on any changes in behavior requirement and how they can be achieved, identification of further training, agreement on how performance improvement in this area could be measured and assessed. Measuring and assessing performance improvement is a difficult part of the success and is necessary to agree either quantifiable performance measures or any other type of evidence that can be made available to appreciate a job well done. Defining objectives. Managing expectation is based upon an agreement between the manager and the employee on the objective of the job under discussion and how its objectives or achievements would be measured. Objectives can be either quantitative or qualitative. Quantitative targets are numerical targets that are achievement based, whereas qualitative objectives are expectation of behavior. Objectives can be work related, referring to the achievement of the role requirements. The different types of objectives are ongoing role objectives, targets, tasks or projects, values, behavior, performance, improvement, and developmental. Next are characteristics of good objective. The characteristics of good work or operation. The characteristic of good work or operational objective are It should be consistent with the value of organization and departmental and organizational objective. It should be precise, that is, clear and well defined using positive words. It should be challenging. It has to stimulate high standards of performance and encourage progress. It should be measurable. The performance measure should either be qualitative or quantitative. Next are measuring performance. It is very important to know what the current performance is in order to improve performance. The criteria that will be used to assess the extent to which objectives have been achieved is identified and agreed upon during the planning stage. These could be straightforward performance measures or metric referring to quantified output, or they could be near clear performance indicator which refers to a task or project being completed which meet specified requirements. Such measures are relatively easy. It is difficult to use quantitative measures that refers to behavior or quantifiable outcomes. Performance measures can be classified as finance. These can be measured in terms of income, shareholder value, added value, rates of return, and cost. Output. These are measured in terms of units produced to processed, throughput, sales, new accounts. Impact. It is the attainment of the standards such as quality or level of service, changes in behavior, completion of work or project, level of take up of service, innovation, reaction. It is judgment by others such as colleagues, internal and external customers. Next is the continuous process of performance management. Performance management is a continuous process because it should be achieved throughout the year and is not a once a year event. Performance management has to be considered as a basic part of continuing process of management. This is based on the belief which emphasizes on continuous improvement in performance, constant development of skills and capabilities, an organization that is constantly developing and applying the learning gained from experience and the analysis of the factors that have produced high level of performance. Reviewing performance. The objective of performance reviews are motivation, to motivate employees by providing a positive feedback, recognition, praise, and opportunities for growth, and to clarify expectations. Development. To provide a starting point for improving and increasing abilities relevant both to the current role and any future roles the employee may have the potential to carry out. Next is communication. To serve as a two-way communication channel for discussing roles, expectation, relationship, work problems, and aspirations. Providing feedback. The various guidelines used to provide feedback are: feedback should be provided on actual result or observed behavior. It should be provided immediately. It should not be a judgment. It should be presented as a description of what has happened. The focus of feedback should be on aspect of performance the employee can improve. Feedback should make employee feel empowered. This can be done by pointing out areas where the performance was good along with area of improvement. Assessing performance. In conventional performance appraisal system, performance assessment is based on objective. This involves clarifying with manager the key result and performance standards they must achieve and using systematic performance reviews to measure progress. Progress is measured with reference to the objective. The recent development in performance management has led to an understanding that the means are as important as ends. Performance should be assessed not only on achieving objective but also on the process of achieving objective. Rating performance. Performance appraisal system almost always includes some form of overall rating of performance. The rating scale format can either be behavior with example of good, average and inadequate performance or graphic which simply presents a number of scale points along a range. The scale points may be defined alphabetically, numerically, or by means of abbreviations or acronyms, for example, EX for excellent, and so on. The scale point may be further described adjectively, for example, expectational, acceptable, or unsatisfactory. Coaching. Coaching as part of the normal process of management consists of making employee aware of their performance, making sure that employees are not only aware of what is expected from them but also understand what they need to know to be able to complete the task adequately. This gives manager an opportunity to provide guidance at the outset, as guidance at a later stage may be seen as interference. Using appropriate situation to promote learning. Encouraging people to take up higher level issues and helping them identify how they would tackle them. Documentation. The performance management process is not a mere form filling activity. It is very important to maintain records of the role profile, the agreed objective, and the improvement made. This will be of great help during annual performance review. Creation of contingent pay scheme also require a record of assessment or rating, and the performance measurement forms serve as working documents for the same. The forms should record agreement on performance achievement and the action to be taken to improve performance or develop competence and skills. In the last, there is an exercise for you. So the first question of it is, the need for dash may arise from formal and informal performance reviews. Second is, encouraging people to take up higher level issues and helping them identify how they would tackle them is a part of coaching process. A great deal of dash is generated during the performance management process. That's all for this session. Thank you. Happy learning, we learning.